Here we are again. Going to do another shape building method drawing of Mario, Super Mario. Just cannot get enough of this shape building method because it is so simplistic. Once you get the hang of it, it does take a few minutes to get a hang of it, but once you get it, you can use it for everything. So one of the things that I found very helpful is to divide my reference photo in half horizontally, and to also divide my final paper in half horizontally. That gives me a little bit more to use to scale it up. And so the first thing I do is the big shape. In this case, it was his head, and I just kind of kept the shape simple. I used a circle. After I did his head, then I did his waist, kind of his belly area. It was the next biggest shape. And then after that, I added an ear or two, but I didn't spend too much time with that. I thought I'd come back later. And I went down and started working on his legs. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I also did his nose. And you'll notice I had to size his nose up and up and up several times. This circle, this oval that I'm drawing for his nose keeps getting bigger and bigger. Mustache, fairly easy to line up with things. Constantly line it up, line it up, line it up, line it up. So first your simple shapes. Start with the biggest ones first, and then work your way down to the medium ones, and then to the smaller ones as much as possible. And then also be lining it up, line it up, line it up, line it up. So simple shapes, line it up. Constantly compare the size of this with the size of that. Notice how big his nose is compared to his head. Notice how big his feet are compared to his waist or compared to his legs. These feet are huge, and they don't necessarily look that way in the photograph, in the reference picture, but once you start trying to line it up and size things up, you see that these feet are really large. They are literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 1/6 of the height of the picture, the height of Mario. His head is literally like half the size of his body, or maybe closer to 1/3 the size of his body. Constantly lining things up. Where are his toes in relationship to his elbow, in relationship to his knee? Where is his nose in relationship to the buttons on his overalls? Constantly dropping plumb lines to see. A plumb line is basically just a vertical line that goes straight up and down parallel with the sides of the paper that you put on the edge of something. Like I put it on the edge of his toe. I put a plumb line on the edge of his toe, and it lines up with his elbow and his ear. It took me about 35 minutes total to do the drawing, but I've sped it up, of course, here, so it'd be under 5 minutes. But it took me about 35 minutes to do it because I was constantly comparing and lining things up, and I wanted to make sure everything was perfect. In the end, my drawing is a little bit fatter than the actual Mario, and I'll show you a comparison picture at the end, and you can pick out all the things that I did wrong and let me know down in the comments. Just completely pick it apart for me. Let me know what's too big, what's too small, what's in the wrong place. Help me figure it out. I'll show you the comparison photo at the end. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and look at the other videos that I've done on the shape building method. There's probably about 4 or 5 of them now, and I think if you were to watch one of them a day and practice, it would help tremendously. If you're struggling with this at school or wherever, you can use these videos to help you out. Probably would also be helpful if you hit the button to slow it down if you need to, rewind it, play it again, whatever you need to do. But I'll show you the comparison photo here in a second. In the meantime, go make your own drawing.